You hear me? Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see a nice filled room. Are your bellies filled? Oh, you welcome, you welcome. Okay, so now it's my job to provide some entertainment and try to keep you guys awake after you had a nice lunch, but I'm not good at that. So what I'm going to do is welcome to the stage our wonderful, wonderful partner with Burlington English, Robert. Where is he? Oh, okay, I'm like, where is he? See, that's the joke on me. I'm about to say it's April Fool's Day, but we are not going to do that to Shikata. So please, everyone say thank you and give a big round of applause to Robert with Burlington English.
How about a big round of applause to Shikata? And from the shameless promotion department, where's Sharon Bonnie? Is Sharon Bonnie here? Anybody seen Sharon? Where is she? Point to her, where is she? Yay, how about a Sharon Bonnie? And in all seriousness, if you're on the board or you had anything to do with putting this conference together, raise your hand, real quick, raise your hand. Big round of applause for these folks. Folks, I am just looking, feel your back for just a second. Feel your back for just a second. No, follow along. No, you have to do it. You have to do it. Yes, if I talk real fast, things happen. Yes, see, that's a cape. That's a cape you're wearing. I see nothing but superstars here. I see nothing but superstars here. And adult education is going to last for 1,000 years. And when they look back, they are going to say this was their finest hour. I just made that up. Or a guy named Winston Churchill, right? Right? We are going to keep calm and we are going to educate on. Can I get an amen? I am not the patron saint of lost causes. I am the patron saint of causes not yet won. And I look at all the people who are going to make this happen. We are going to be here a year from now, and we are going to say, we did it. We are going to be tapping each other on the back. I don't know. Little Miltilus there. We are going to say, do you remember when? And we're going to say, we did it, and this was our finest hour, and we're going to do it together. And from my more than 100 colleagues at Burlington English in the field, I would love in any way, shape, or form that we help you do it. We help you do it. 90-something% of our teachers are part-time hourly. So many of our administrators are part-time hourly even. They need all the help they can get, and all of our help is complimentary. We just want to stand elbow to elbow with you. We want to help in any way, shape, or form. You name it. We want to make sure that whether you have learners in the smallest little one-room schoolhouse like Immokalee, Florida, and Farm Worker Village that I got my start in, or at the largest facility that everybody gets access to everything they need to get a job, get a better job, advance on the job, put food on the table for their family, and be truly active participants, to really, really be active participants in their community and show the world just what we do, just what you do. And it just brings joy to my heart to be with you all. And again, to all of our friends at COABE, you do amazing work. You do incredible work. And all of you state office people, again, I was one of those little whiny local directors, okay? All right, I know you wouldn't believe it, right? You just couldn't believe that, well, how come I didn't get more money? And he got more money than I did. And I should have gotten more of this. And how come you didn't count this? But I got to tell you, without you folks at the state office, you really are our lighthouses. I hope you know how much we never tell you, okay? We're like little kids, right? Right? You know how mom gets really smart and then kind of like this and then dad and everything? But you hold us together at the local level. We need everything we can get from you. And again, from all of us at Burlington English, we're here to help in any way, shape, or form. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Robert. I told you he would get you going. give you a couple of laughs. Next, I want to go ahead and invite to the stage our partners, our friends with NASDAQ, Cheryl Hart.
Thank you. It's tough to follow Robert, but I will try. So I'm Cheryl Hart. I'm the Assistant Director for NASDAQ, which is the National Association of State Directors of Adult Education. So a little quick plug. We're doing elections right now, so if you are a state director and you're considering running for the board, you can self-nominate or nominate someone else. So that's not the right slide. There we go. So NASDAQ is an organization that exists to support state directors and state staff throughout the nation and including the territories in implementation of adult education services under Title II WIOA. It's a board-driven organization, and you see the picture of the board members up there. All are in that picture, actually, except for Ben Conriff from Wisconsin, so he's also on the board. You see our website down there, nasdaq.org. If you go there, you can see the list of all the board members as well, and a lot of other resources on there. I think there's one more slide. Okay, NASDAQ has some priorities. Specifically, it's to support the implementation of services under WIOA from the perspective of the state staff. And we do that in several ways. We disseminate information, public information. We have some fact sheets that are widely used. We do professional development. We do webinars throughout the year. We have a National Training Institute annually. And we have partnerships, including COABE, a very important partnership. And then resource sharing and networking. And I have to say that that has become critically important right now in the environment we're in. So bringing people together, we're trying to ramp up and think of a lot of ways that we can bring people together so that you can network with each other, interact, share resources, ideas, talk through things, think through things, work as thought partners with other people. You know, we know that every state has adult education in it. There's one state director per state, so you are alone in your state as a state director. But with NASDAQ, you're not alone, so we try to bring you together. So I also just want to add one last thing. I was state director in Arizona for several years before I came to NASDAQ. I retired and then came back to NASDAQ. When I was state director in Arizona, I participated on this panel here, as it was during the pandemic, so it was virtual, but I got to be on the panel with our state association in Arizona, the Arizona Association for Lifelong Learning, a very important partner in the state. So I want to say that. So I will give it back to you, Shakira.
Thank you so much. All right, so after you eat, you need to go ahead and try to move around, which aids in digestion. So I'm gonna ask everybody in the room to stand up. All right, so look all around this room and see how packed this room is. Take a moment, take it in. There's a lot of people in this room that is comprised of state directors and state associations, and together, we forge a strong partnership. We love working with NASDAQ, the State Directors Association, and as COABE, as we represent all the state associations. And we forge a partnership to be able to achieve our collaborative and collective goals. So I ask everyone who is a state director, raise your hand. Woo! I see a few of you in the room. All right, state directors, just hold your hand just out like that, like you're giving a good stretch. Now, all of you that are representing state associations, raise your hand. All right. Now, state directors, I want you to know that you are not alone. Hold your hand out right here, and whoever is a part of your state association, I want you to grab your state director's hand. And if your state director was unable to come, just reach up and say, I got you. We are in this together. We are definitely in this together, and we all have our separate roles and responsibilities that we each can play. But together, working in tandem, we're going to be able to accomplish those goals. And so what we're going to learn here today is how meaningful the work has been for a couple of states and how they were able to go far beyond what they both expected in order to achieve their goals. And we had a little technical difficulty, so they're up here trying to help right now.
Other way.
While they're trying to get that together, COABE really does work well in advocacy, and the way we're able to achieve a lot of those, oh, I'm sorry, guys, sit down. Y'all are an obedient group. They're like, hey, we're just gonna stand here. We'll stand here the whole hour. Have a seat. I got a little distracted. I'm sorry. But we are able to really stay abreast of what's happening on the Hill with our partners, Penn Hill Group. And from the Penn Hill Group, we have Elise, who is over here. Come on up here, Elise. Don't be shy. And Elise is going to share with us some of the things that are critical for all of us to know so that we can be aware and understand what we need to do action. So Elise, I'll hand over the microphone to you.
Thank you so much, Chiquetta. And I'm here also with my colleague, Megan, who's in the back, and we're here if you have questions later. I have an April Fool's joke, but I'm not going to say it. So I'll just get right down to the truth of the matter. We are in a very challenging environment in Washington, D.C. Things are rapidly changing. Things that may have been true yesterday may not be true today, and the same from this morning to now. So what I'm going to tell you is how it is right at this moment, but we can't always take that to the bank, but I will share what we know. For fiscal year 2025, that's the current fiscal year we are in, good news is that Congress decided to put funding in there for adult education. The question is whether the administration through the Department of Education might be able to move funding from adult ed to CTE, because they're in the same funding pool within the appropriations process. COABE is fighting to make sure that that doesn't happen, and we're going to need all of your help as well to raise your voices. This is just because of the way the flexibility was added into this CR process for this year. It's not the way it typically is. Usually funding is specified in the report language, and that's where you get the figure for adult education, but this year they said it was only what was in the bill language, not in the report. So we need to all raise our voices to make sure that FY25 funding follows just the same way it followed in FY24. And if you're in states where you're working very well with CTE, if that doesn't happen, maybe those are conversations you could be having at the state level to make sure adult education funding continues to flow. For fiscal year 2026, which is the fiscal year that will start in October 1st, but the funding process will begin in just a few weeks, we will need all hands on deck. We need there to be a primary focus for adult education. We need the appropriations committees in the House and Senate to know that there should be funding for adult education. We need that funding to be spelled out in the bill text so we don't have this problem again where funding might be shifted between different pots of programs. But we expect the president's budget to come out soon, and you're going to see a lot of funding cuts. I don't know if on adult education, but I think we all need to be prepared for that budget to come out and be kind of horrifying, but that is where Congress comes in, and that's again where your advocacy is going to be needed. Your education, if you can't advocate. to say how important the impact of adult education is to your members of the House and Senate. Another thing you might be hearing about is the budget reconciliation. Now, this process doesn't impact adult education specifically because that goes through the annual appropriations process. But the budget reconciliation process will impact the communities you serve. There will likely be cuts on Medicaid, SNAP, Pell Grants perhaps, and student loans. And so that's something to be watchful for as that process unfolds. And another thing to remember, this is something that the majority party with the president can do together because there is no filibuster in the Senate. It only takes 50 votes to make this happen. So just be watchful, and certainly it's something that we are paying close attention to as well. For WIOA and the reauthorization process, that almost got done last December, and then at the end got pushed aside. So that is still something we are hopeful will happen this year. There was a committee hearing in the House Education Workforce Committee last month on WIOA, but right now it's stalled. So we'll need all of your voices to raise up and say we need the Adult Education Works Act, which is the COABE-supported legislation that includes a lot of strengthening and updating of adult education for Title II of WIOA. And we need all of your voices to make that happen. This bipartisan bill, the Adult Education Works Act by Senators Reed and Young and Lucy McBath in the House, and that's hopefully will be introduced this week. And then we can share that information with all of you so you can educate and advocate. Lastly, the stability of the Department of Education that I know is also on all of our minds. There are things that are statutory, meaning that even though there is an interest by this administration to dismantle the Department of Education, they can't get rid of adult education or OCTAE just by swoop of a pen. These are things that Congress has put in place, and it will take acts of Congress to change. That said, there are all these reductions in force, which may in fact be harmful to the efforts of what you are doing in terms of adult education. Right now, we haven't seen those impacts come into place, but they may. So that may be the way they try to dismantle the Department of Education, is through the inside by reducing staff. That's why it's going to be, again, all important for you guys to educate and advocate when you can about the important role that OCTAE plays in getting you funding and getting you resources, getting you technical assistance to do the jobs that you all do so well to help adult learners. That's the best way forward. Sharon and Chiquetta and Erin and everyone at COABE, they are the resources. They're trying to push forward and make sure everyone understands what's going on and to provide everyone with that leadership to really move the ball forward for adult education. We need all of our voices. We need you to tell your members of Congress how important it is, the people that you're serving, and focus it on the workforce. What you do every day gets employers the skilled people that they need to do the jobs that run our country. And I thank you for all the work that you do, and Sharon Chiquetta, and we'll pass this on to Sharon. Thank you. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Elise. Hopefully you all can see me. It's great to be here with you today. You'll see on the slides that we have some shared public awareness campaigns with NASDAQ in particular, and we're really grateful for that partnership because we feel that it's really important for state directors, state associations, and state advocate fellows to be working together as that triumvirate for success. So we have the Educate and Elevate, which is still going, and Cheryl was a big part of that back in the day when we were putting that together, and it won 6 International Davies Awards. We have the Move Ahead with Adult Ed, which really helped to push enrollment, helped during the pandemic for individuals to find programs. And then we have the Impacts That Count, and that was really with Marilyn Pizzulo and her team help us really showcase the success of our local programs. So really, really grateful for that partnership, and we can go to the next slide. We couldn't do this without Chiquetta, who is our board president, so we're thankful for her leadership. Thank you, Chiquetta. And we'll go to the next slide. So COABE's major priorities: we provide leadership, professional development, advocacy, and communication. And as Elise mentioned, today is Advocacy April, and I can't say enough about how much we need to just rally together, work with our local programs, the teachers, administrators, the learners, and really get out there and make some noise for adult education. We have the website developed, we have materials that are turnkey products that you can use, but you can also edit them. That's really, really easy to use. And I wanted to also mention a little later, we're going to have Christine come up and talk about social media and the value of that, because it's a really great way to raise your voice for adult education. So we're going to keep going to the next slide, please. We also are all about helping the state associations in particular. You just heard Human IT talk about bringing $2.4 million to Wisconsin, and that's just the start. Our goal is to bring funding to every state. So we're working that way, as well as, of course, the federal funding, but we know philanthropic funding is really important too in these times as well, right? Designing resources, we provide specific services such as website management, membership support, conference support to state associations. For example, in Alaska, we helped them with their virtual conference for a number of years now, and we continue to do that. And then, of course, fostering community. A lot of times, as Shaketa said, state associations might feel kind of isolated and like they need to know they're part of a community. So we have the State Association Leadership Institute. We meet monthly, and then we meet here at the conference as well. Oh, geez. All right. I'll go on. Okay, great. All right. Good to see you all here. And then we have our national awards. I apologize, but you can't see me if I'm back there. We have our national awards, and so we've given $1.2 million to the field of adult education through our awards and recognition. But I also have some folks in the room here that I want to recognize as well. Jakin and Joel, if you'll stand up. We have some social media influencers as well in the room. Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Really, really important to recognize excellence when we see it. So thank you both for your work. I say this because we have a number of leadership awards that we provide at the state level as well. And I want to recognize Larry Covino. They're at CASE. They won the State Association Leadership Award. Thank you, Larry, for your great work. And Anthony and Christine, really appreciate it. Very quickly, Larry and his team really brought people to the Hill at the state level. They had legislative days that were just amazing. And so I just want to thank them for their work in Connecticut. Okay, so going to the next slide, please. I also wanted to mention that there's been a number of state directors who've worked with COABE this year. We're super grateful for them. Hector and Heidi and Marilyn, thank you for your work with COABE. I also wanted to thank Kyle from Idaho, Kyle Clabby Kane, who worked on our Behind Every Employer campaign with us. Amber Gallup from the Center of Excellence in Apprenticeship, she worked with us on that. Yvonne Stevens Carter, who worked with us bringing in a lot of learners to the summit. Mahalia Baldini, who hosted us here in Texas. Dr. Kiana Good, who was the nominator for the Outstanding Student of the Year winner. TJ Armstrong, who was on our data task force team. And of course, Pat Tyler and Cheryl Hart. Thank you so much for partnering with COABE. And the next slide, please. So now we're going to move to this very important portion of the presentation, and that is really uplifting the success at the state level. And I believe we have up to bat first, Alaska. Is that correct? Okay.
While Alaska is
Great.
While Alaska is making their way onto the stage, if you've ever been in a presentation with Erin Landry, you know she loves a Slido, and so do I. So if you take out your phone, use the camera, scan that QR code, or you can join at slido.com and enter that number. Just want to do a little temperature check in the room to see how you'd rate your state association and state office partnership. Then you can tell Erin next slide if you like. She's controlling it. The online folks did ask that if speakers could be up there so they just wouldn't be looking at a blank screen.
Okay.
So you can use this mic or that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're standing up.
Yeah, we'll wait for this to.
We don't have folks that are together too much. Can you hear me?
Okay, it kind of looks like we're in frequent communication and collaborate multiple times per year is working. Okay, so now you're going to hear from a couple of states. Aaron, if you go to the next slide. So we're going to hear from Alaska, Kansas, Louisiana, and then learn more from a few of you. You can go ahead to the next one. Thanks.
Okay, Erica, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so we are Alaska Adult Education. So I'm Wendy Swearingen. I'm the State Director of Adult Education.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Amy Facklum. I'm the treasurer of the Alaska Adult Education Association.
Hello everyone, I'm Deepika. I'm the SAFE Advocacy Fellow for the 2025 cohort.
And we're here to talk about adult education. So, in Alaska, as I mentioned, I'm the treasurer. First of all, I want to say that my president wanted to be here, but unfortunately, due to funding, she was not able to be here, so she has asked me to step in and talk about the education, or the association. Those two words end in shin, and like, my mind goes crazy. So the Alaska Adult Education Association was founded in 1977 with the mission to provide advocacy, leadership, professional development to adult education in Alaska. So when you think about Alaska, what do you think about? Snow, cold, big, thank you. Does anybody know how big? Bigger than Texas. Well, true, but so to give you an idea of how big Alaska is, what is it? Yeah, it's 633,000 square miles, okay? We have boroughs, what many of you may have called counties, that are as big as states. In fact, the borough that I live in is as big as West Virginia. So to give you an idea how big our land mass is, even though we have big land, we have a small population. Only 1% of our land is actually populated by people. Yeah. So we have a big state, people all around, and that is who we represent. So for our association, we have members who represent regions across Alaska. And the 6 regions that we represent are the Southwestern region, the Southeastern region, the South Central, and Kodiak, which is an island. You think about Kodiak bears, maybe. Does anybody watch the, what is it called, the Fat Bear contest? Yes, I heard a yes. Yes, isn't it fun and amazing? Oh, so much fun. So if you haven't, there's a contest and you can go watch it, and they try to see what bear gets the biggest and bulked up for the winter. So it's Kodiak. We also represent the Northwestern Arctic region, the interior, and then Anchorage gets its own region. And the reason Anchorage gets its own region is because it represents 40% of the population of 740,000 in Alaska. And so they have their own specific region. Along with the regions, we have 3 at-large members, a correctional seat, and then we have 3 non-voting members. And that is myself as treasurer, and then our 2 state representatives, one of them being Wendy as the state director, and then Donna Collins, who is GD Guru. I just call her GD Guru. I don't even actually know what her official title is. So, and so they are also on the board and participate in the board meetings. All right. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Wendy to talk about her role in professional development.
My turn. So about 6 years ago, oh, I have to move over here. And you can see me over here, so about 6 years ago, I came into this position, and one of the things that was missing is professional development. So, and there's only one of me in the state office. I have somebody who runs our technical assistance and does the immediate needs, but I do everything else. So I do GED, I do AFLA, I do everything else that comes into the state office. So I can't do everything or else I wouldn't sleep. Immediate need was professional development. So we changed we had two program coordinator meetings per year. So we took one of them and turned it into a conference. And it started with one building and one room and 20 people and 3 people that were helping out with that. And so we thought, well, we've got to do something with that conference and make it more professional development. So we went to our AAEA and decided to partner with them. And so we've now turned that into our professional development. So we lean very heavily on them to help provide professional development in our state because we couldn't do it without them. So we have set up a conference committee. We've built it. I'm also on that committee as well. Not that I want to be, but I am. We have, and I think we have a slide that'll show you what our conference committee is like. But we have, oh, don't go on. Go back, Aaron. I'm not done yet. So we have built a conference committee, and it consists of the state office staff so that we can get by with what we need to when it comes to professional development. We do have a voice. We are there to help lend assistance. And then we do leverage funds. So our state funds come in and we help with that conference as well as raising funds through our association. We cover the venue, the online platform, the technology, and sometimes this year we had a little extra funding to help with keynote speakers. And then the AAEA or association covers the registration, the catering, motivational speakers and other things. So we do help split some cost so that it's not all on one or all on the other. So, Amy? Next slide, please, Erin.
Thank you. All right, so here are some conference highlights. As Wendy mentioned, when she was doing it by herself and in her office, that was in 2019. That was when we had the one room. We had 20 attendees that were mostly program coordinators for the regions around Alaska. We had 3 guest speakers, and it was put on by the state office. And she did a wonderful job along with Donna. I just want to say she did. But leveraging the funding, as Wendy said, we thought, let's go bigger. So we just held our 2025 conference in March, the beginning of March. And this is what it broke out to. We were able to rent a venue that had breakout rooms. There were approximately 120 in-person attendees. This included attendees from out of state. Yes, we had people come from out of state to our conference. And 30 online attendees. We had 37 guest speakers, both in person and online. We have kept, since 2019, when we had to go fully online, 2020, fully online, we decided to keep that hybrid model because, how big was Alaska? Pop quiz. There's square miles, very good. A lot of our educators actually can't make it into Anchorage, especially if they live in a small village or maybe, weather. They couldn't make it, it happens all the time. So we have kept a hybrid model. So all of our presentations are in person and online, so they're accessible by everyone. So during that time, we also had 4 keynote speakers. You can see who those keynote speakers are. We had Jeffrey Fantine, Kate Redman with Light and Salt Learning, Landau Eugene Murphy Jr. I think you might remember him. Do you? And then we had Don Reardon, who was a local author who came to speak at our awards ceremony. We also had an address from our Senator, Lisa Murkowski, who is a advocate for adult education, so thank you. And we were able to hold 5 separate conference tracks so people could stay in a track and attend the sessions that were very of interest to them. Erin? So this is how we broke it down. We said, we can't do everything, we need a committee. So we broke it down into subcommittees. So we had our site committee that was responsible for reserving the site and the online platform. So that means that we went out, we got our online platform. Like I said, we're a hybrid model. And then we also had our in-person site, which was in Anchorage. We'll probably always be in Anchorage because how many people live in Anchorage? What percentage? Thank you. And then did all the catering and those types of things. We had our outreach committee, so these are the people who are reaching out to our speakers and our exhibitors. As you will see in just a minute, we did a lot of outreach, and so you'll see. We had our award, oh, Aaron, you're so quick on a draw. We had our awards committee, our publicity committee, and then we just had some board decisions such as budget and that main board. Now I'm ready. All right, and so with our outreach committee, back in 2019 when Wendy did it, we had 2 book exhibitors come, and we thank them very much. But this year, with our outreach committee, we were able to get 10 people to come in person, 10 sponsors come in person to Anchorage to set up and talk to our adult educators. So we had Advanced Net Technology, Aztec, CASAS, Essential Education, ACT Work Keys, COABE, DRC, GED Testing Service, Light and Salt Learning, and New Readers Press. And we thank every single one of those for making the very, very long trip to Alaska. Thank you. One of the things that I don't know if I said it so fast, but our board has a correction seat on it. And this is one of those things that we're very proud of. We want to make sure that all people are represented. And so our board has a correction seat, and this has led to a wonderful partnership where they actually come to the conference committee and say, hey, this is what we want to see at the conference and what we want to do. And so they actually use the space that we have acquired for a pre-conference, and they bring their corrections educators from around Alaska into Anchorage and have their pre-conference there. And then in the past, they have provided funding for our speakers as well. And so with that partnership, we're very excited, and we always are looking to expand it and try to help them get what they need for their educators, because our correction system is, once again, spread out throughout all of Alaska. So I'm going to pass it over to Wendy to talk about our other partnerships.
Aaron, next slide, please. So one of the things that we decided very early on is to open this up to all adult education, not just grantees. We have other individuals and other entities that do education in Alaska. We made that decision very early on. And so you can see that some of these other partners do come to our conference, they do participate, and we do try to provide tracks or with them as well. So our job center, Title III provides volunteers. We've reached out to them very early on, and so they help provide volunteers to help within our conference. We also have WIOA Youth. They come as speakers, and last year they provided a space for their case managers, and so we had tracks specifically for WIOA Youth within our conference. GED testing sites that are not necessarily part of adult education, but we do invite them to our conference, and we do have some of our sites that do come annually to our conference just to get GED updates and also to be a part of our conference as well. This year we've added SNAP programs. We invited them, and they were also there. And then we also have university staff and programming that we invite as well to come. And so we do have people that teach university that do come to our conference as well. And we're expanding it year to year to year to year. So we're adding new programming as we go. So our conference grows and grows and grows, and we're adding new tracks and new partners.
All right. So far we've talked about our conference, which is one of our biggest things that we put on. But I do want to speak a little bit about the advocacy that the association does in Alaska. we have leaned in to Adult Education Family Literacy Week. We do so many proclamations. The governor has actually done it for the last 4 years in a row, and we're already preparing our 2025 proclamations. So excited about that. At local levels, we have gotten mayoral proclamations as well as community council proclamations, as well as our Department of Labor Commissioner proclamation. And so in Alaska, it was mentioned briefly, the adult education program is under the Department of Labor, not the Department of Education. And then, as I mentioned, we have Senator Lisa Murkowski that we are always approaching and asking, since she is an advocate for adult education. In fact, so much of an advocate that she received the 2023 Adult Education Champion Award through COABE. So just to tell you how big of an advocate she is. And then, of course, we're always meeting with our legislators, maybe local programs who are involved in the association to try to put these students and adult education programs in everybody's mind and educating people that adult education touches every part of everybody's life, and that without us, the world would not become a better place. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to give us, that you gave us to tell you about the practices that we have in Alaska, and thank you for your time. Do you want to add anything? All right.
Another round of applause for Alaska. There you go. Thank you very much. Well, I'm Hector Martinez, and I'm the state director for Kansas. It's not as big as Alaska, but it's plain list. Then we just want to talk, and I just wanted to bring just one really quick point on this theme that we're talking today. It is the conversation between the state director and the associations, and how we can empower the associations to do more and extend our arms to provide additional services in the adult education. Then our president for the association is not able to be here, but we have the incoming president and the president-elect with us. And I just want to tell you one thing, that I was part of the association in the past, and I was president. And as a state director, as president for association, I know what I needed from the state director, and the state director was not listening to me. I was asking and trying to, but the state director didn't listen. Then I'm sitting in the other side now, and I try to open the door, and I try to open those ears, and how can we support the association for things that I'm not able to do. And especially these times is where we need the associations to help us a lot. Then with that, next slide, and then we've been collaborating in many different arenas, many different projects. But one of the biggest projects that we've been together now with this new administration and the new way of Kansas adult education is doing, it is to be proactive and be in the table, and bring in some of those needs from both sides, from the state and from the association. And the most important part of the association is that they're talking to the teachers and with students. Then we at the state level not have that opportunity. Then we are working in many of those initiatives. Then I'm gonna let them talk really quick about what the association and we've been working on, because we have the opportunity to be together and visiting our legislators. Then next slide, Erin, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Krista Clay. As Hector said, I am the vice president, incoming president for the next fiscal year. I've been in adult ed 25 years, going on my 26th year. It started out as one of those things where I'm just going to do this because I live in a small town and this is a good job, and I'll just find something else. 25 years later, I'm still here. So you all know how adult ed gets under your skin. And I started out as the low of the low, you know, in the board as a representative. And again, it gets under your skin and you want to do more. And I'm very proud of the Kansas Adult Education Association, which has been around since the 40s, believe it or not. And I like to think that we've really grown, and especially in the role that we play in building our teachers and the people, the support staff that work for our state. Several years ago in the 90s, the KAEA board brainstormed and they prioritized some issues such as legislation, fiscal, curriculum and assessment, public relations, and professional development. Those are the things that we are tasked with, that we pay attention to what's going on, we talk to our state leaders, and then we provide that information. That's our job, to make sure that our people, and by the way, Hector wanted me to make sure to mention that 100% of our full-time adult education staff in the state of Kansas belongs to Kansas Adult Education Association. So we're pretty proud of that. We're very proud of that. We help instructors enhance the knowledge to give students the basic skills they need to go out and carry out their roles in their community, whatever the role may be, the ever-changing role, because they too, adult ed gets under their skin, and once they get that first taste of it, that first credential, that first certification through our AOK, Accelerating Kansas, any of that, it gets under their skin, and they seem to want more. And I don't mean back to back. It may take years in between, but they seem, once they get in that system, they're there. And I love that about what we do too. We have 6 proclamations. Hector, do you want to talk more about this slide?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Krista. Yamir Lozada here, treasurer, but Hector, Yamir, whatever. It works fine. And vice president-elect and safe for Kansas. So really quick, Aaron, first of all, thank you so much for handling all the slides. Through our efforts, and I know every single state has endeavors to continue to advocate for adult education for everything that they do. Here you can see from 6 proclamations to 47 different marketing and outreach efforts, all that jazz. Aaron, you can fly through these slides if you want. Here was Flood the Hill. Very uncomfortable moment for me because I'm not, you know, advocacy is a challenging new thing for me, but getting a chance to get some training and some guidance from COABE and with having representation, it was wonderful. We also had our state association have a conference at the state capitol and had a chance to meet with other senators and representatives, and then had a couple of proclamations from our mayor and our governor. But all in all, just to wrap this up, because I know we got to go through this quickly, we've done our best to evolve what we do within our association, and so we partnered with Cox Media to really amplify and enhance our marketing and outreach efforts, as well as creating a new cool logo. And we've been able to reach over 300,000 students across Kansas, so not just for a specific program, but across the state, which has been really invaluable to continuing to elevate and educate the community about adult ed. But to wrap this up, a lot of our efforts have been on growing and developing leaders. We cannot recruit leaders, we build them, okay? And as far as the culture that we have in Kansas, I mean, we are in the middle of the U.S. and, you know, it's a little boring, but, it's a little boring. But let me tell you, the culture and relationship that we have with the state and the association is astonishingly well. It's superlative. And, you know, culture is made by intentional decisions and efforts or by unintentional things you allow to happen. And, yeah, you feel free to write that down. Thankfully, we have that nurturing, positive culture within the whole state. And that's a little bit about Kansas. And let's go ahead and welcome the wonderful other. Oh, there's one more slide. No, that's not ours, is it? Okay, that's ours. Yes. Thank you so much.
Is this on? Yeah.
So, hello everyone. We're from the great state of Louisiana and so excited to be here. Woohoo! We brought our cheering team out there. Thank you guys. My name is Kay Charbonneau. I'm the executive director of the LAPKey. And the lady behind the screen here is our illustrious state director, Erin Landry. We're so proud of her. Sorry she can't talk, but that might be good too, huh? And of course, you all know Adrian, who is on the COA board. She's vice president on the COA board. And I also have with us up here our state president, Mark Hucks. But you know, in Louisiana, we can't talk about a whole lot of things without talking about celebrating, right? So that's what we'll be doing this next year. And we will be celebrating 50 years. I was wondering, and I was going to talk to Sharon to find out what are some of the oldest organizations, but I understand Kansas has us beat big time if they started in the 40s. We started, and our organization began in 1974. I heard Alaska say it was 1977. So wow, we've got some longevity among us, haven't we? And we're so excited about that. And so we will be having our state conference celebrating all of our years of service in adult ed this next year. I'm very proud to say it's really from legacy to leadership, because that word leadership is so important. That's what we want to highlight as part of our connections. So a half a century of dedication to adult education through our support, through our advocacy, and through our professional growth. We will be celebrating the past as we go forward into the future this year. And some of the pictures there, you can see that some of them do go back to the 70s. One gentleman there, the first one that's black and white, he's still around. He will be with us, helping us celebrate. So we're so excited because we're very proud of our forefathers, because we don't think we would be here today, because we've had some tough years in adult ed, right? We wouldn't be here today if we didn't have our forefathers ahead of us planning this. So I'll turn it over to Adrian.
Thanks, Kay. So we really do work well together, and on that survey, we probably would have selected the option that says we may be together a little too much, but that's okay. So we created this Venn diagram to show you that, you see, we each have our unique roles, but there's so much that we're working for together, and that's where the collaboration comes. You can move to the next slide. Unless, Kay, you want to say something?
I was just going to reiterate, if you'll go back, Erin, I'll just reiterate the collaboration, the middle part of this diagram, where we do work together for learner success, for our professional development, of course, is our big thing. Program excellence, public awareness and advocacy, and leadership, and building leaders in our world. And I think you can tell kind of by our world, because Adrian's on the COA board, I've been on the COA board, Erin's on the NASDA board, and so we want to build leaders among us, and we think that our relationship does that. Thank you. Okay, and our biggest, as I said before, one of our biggest strengths is the field through professional development. We do have a conference once a year. We have a whole lot of ideas. I came on as executive director in 2019. You know, of course, what happened after 2019, COVID hit. And we kind of had a slow start there, but we are beginning to really build on that collaboration, because me being the executive director, not that I do anything wonderful, because I don't, but I just glue all the pieces together. So that is, I think, a start of why LAPKey is able now at this point to be and do and have what we do have as an organization. We're very proud of our conferences. We have over 600 in membership. We have 300 at conference every year. And Hector, every person in an adult ed program belongs to our association too. So that's a great feat for us, right? Okay, Erin.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the advocacy initiatives in Louisiana. I just want to say that the support and unification between the Home Office, LCTCS, and LAPKey is what keeps us going strong. We're building upon a foundation, and that's only possible through our collaborative efforts. We have 3 key initiatives, first being the proclamations. This past year, we were able to secure mayoral and gubernatorial proclamations in Louisiana, and this was accomplished in main part through a collaboration by getting advice from COABE and LCTCS home office to attend LMA conferences in Louisiana, which allowed us to come as a state association and mingle with the municipal leaders in our state, raise awareness about our programs, what we're doing. And the third main initiative is a new one, and we're very proud and excited to have this initiative going, and that is our new student ambassadors, we are going to be utilizing to the fullest of our abilities. Thank you, Jamie Trujillo back there, who came back to our conference in Baton Rouge and trained our student ambassadors. So that is something we're really excited about, and we're moving forward to our next 50 years.
And I think, Kay, you'll agree with me, and Mark too, another key to our successful partnership and the direction that we're moving in is that we have continued to keep that cohort of our fellows working together, supporting one another. We have Mark, Eric, Kelsey, our latest Serena in the audience. We all work together. But what we're really trying to do is move forward, as Mark said, going to the Municipal Association Conference, meeting with local leaders and mayors, trying to make them aware of what we are trying to do. That's, a little bit outside of our comfort zone, but we're moving in that direction, getting those student ambassadors, utilizing them to make the case for adult education at an upcoming Capitol Hill Day in Louisiana.
So what do you want me to talk about? We are really focusing on our social, digital and social media outcast, and we're working on that. Thankful to Mark and a bunch of young board members. I'm really proud of that. We are really showcasing that. Community partnerships, I learned 35, 40 years ago in my career, it's all about relationships, right? So those community partnerships, that they constantly have to be nurtured and worked on. We are constantly doing that, and we don't do anything without Erin knowing that we do something and we have permission from her to do that, or her guidance anyway on that. So she's laughing at that. That's true, Erin. She's my work daughter, by the way, so I can tell her. Again, public recognition, student ambassadors. Jamie, again, thank you. We even have students here now, which is a really big thing. And just one big shout out, Sharon and I talked a little bit before. I know we're going to Indianapolis next year, and we can't wait to do that, but the next year you come to New Orleans, 2027. So we look so forward to having you in New Orleans and sharing our culture with you. Thank you.
So while we're waiting on, I think is Christine coming up? While Christine is making her way up here for social media, you can just let us know if you heard anything today that you're interested in, any projects or any collaborations that you've learned of. You can go ahead and join the Slido poll and let us know. Yeah, she'll click for you. Okay, Erin, so we can just get
no, I think it's, somebody is online is going before me. I think is what she just said. Sharon, who's online? Who's going first? Oh, Kathy, are you there? Kathy? She's locked. She's muted. All right, hang on. She's on mute. Her slides? Yeah. Oh, okay, if she can, okay. I'll talk for her. Okay, go ahead. All right. Okay, I am talking for Kathy Olson Tracy and going to go through her slides because we can't hear her. So, I don't know what I'm doing here because I didn't read these slides before. So, Okay, give me a second. Okay. Oh, that's right. I did read these slides a long time ago, and I totally think she's right on par here. So, so Kathy's leadership here as a state director is that her focus is about staying calm and in a time of chaos, and taking that moment to just think to yourself before you enter the room, before you scatter your brain all over the place, so that your message is pre-thought of and that you're not adding to people, because you guys all know this, you're all leaders in your own capacity, that when you enter the room, that everybody else is looking for you guys to calm them. So if you enter the room and you are speaking about what's bothering you, what just happened, you're just adding to the chaos rather than helping to calm your mission. Okay, all right. Why use social media? Okay, I can talk to this. Social media, it's free, it's easy. It scares a lot of people, but our social media influencers here can tell you that it's really pretty easy. I will also say that I know that a lot of people are really busy, they don't have a lot of time, but there's, find somebody young in your organization, reach out to see if you can get somebody, an intern for like your local college or something. There are places that will do this for you so easily, because for them, they don't even have to think about it. They're just click, 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 it's done. And with things like social media, like AI, ChatGPT, they don't even have to know about adult ed. If you just feed them some information, they can do all this for you and make it a lot easier. Community building. One of the things that I will go back to about the community building and the chaos, when you're on social media, you got to remember you're not just speaking to this room. You have no idea who's out there and what they're going through. So again, like really think about what you put out there, remain really calm and really neutral, because the tiniest thing you say, somebody can take the wrong way. I don't know, is anybody on their like Facebook local town group? Maybe Alaska has like, Susan lives in my town, like our local town Facebook, like if you ever want a good laugh or like, it's just people going off on each other, just angry about every little thing. So you really got to be careful what you put out there. It increases your awareness and your impact. You just heard other organizations say that. It's a very quick and easy thing to do. So next, am I doing slides? Impact. Okay, so you can see the tremendous, like, you don't have to know a lot about your data, like your social media does it all for you. If you just have somebody, again, if you don't know how to do it, ask AI. How do I look up my analytics on my LinkedIn page? It'll tell you, it'll help you walk through it. I learned everything that I did as a SAFE, so I never did any of this before. You can do this. And you'll see which messages you put out there. So if you recently posted about Adult Education and Family Literacy Week, and one posted way better than the other, you look at it and see what time did it go out, what was your message that you got across, and try and reiterate that so that next time you can have a big impact. I hope that's what she meant to say in that slide. Okay, I think we already went through this, but again, steady leadership. Okay, so this is all the same message we've heard from many people, from Sharon, from Shiketa, we heard it from Elise, from Penn Hill Group. Everybody's trying to send the same message. We all have learners, we all have people in our community who are going through a time of anxiety. We never know, like Penn Hill Group just said, we never know. This is what the news is right now. 5 minutes from there, things totally change. So the message from you has to remain calm and steady. If we are adding to worry, and if we are adding to misconceptions or what ifs, it's not helping anybody. It's not helping us. It's not helping your individual programs. It's not helping our associations. So calm, steady messages are really important. So again, these are some of the things you can see in her slide, some of the things that she's shared about. It's really easy. you all know so many of these things. I mean, these are everything that you already have gathered for so many of your reports that you've had to report for the state. Just choose a different thing, choose a different topic, and just say, oh, I'm going to write about this today. I'm going to combine Kathy and I's reports and tell you that when you write something, if you're going to do the impact of health literacy, 15 words or more. You got to use 15 words or more. 15 words is not a lot. You don't have to say a whole lot. You don't have to throw in a whole lot of data. It's nice sometimes if you do, especially on the platform, depending on what platform. If you're on LinkedIn, you want to be to your professional colleagues, you're going to put a lot more data information. If you're on Facebook, you know, maybe it's just fun, but everybody needs to know about what you're doing. If programs don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get more learners in. You're going to increase your engagement, but you also want to affect our advocacy efforts. Personal stories. I'm going to go with personal stories here, and consistent message. So. We all know our learner stories. When something, I was actually earlier today, I was in with Erin's student ambassador training covering that, and she said something really interesting that I thought was so great. She was saying, you know, when you get hit by a personal message and you get that certain kind of feeling, like it really, oh gosh, help me out here, Erin. What did you say? You were saying like it like affects, yeah, I'm hitting on you. Yeah. And how do we engage in our audience? Our learner stories, they're emotional, they're impactful. That's why we use our learner stories. We can get up here and we can say facts, we can say data, but when we engage our learner stories, we hit that emotion. And if we want to have an ask of somebody, whether it's to come to our program or increase our funding or whatever it is, we've got to hit that emotional chord in them. And you know, it's for the same reason you'll see in politics where, you know, they're always hitting our emotional chords. We're like, sometimes I feel like a little puppet. They're like picking on us, one side or the other. Like, but for us, we're just being like sincere. It's not even us saying it. It's our learners. Just hear what they have to say. Hear what they came from. They're gonna hit a chord with many people. You can't hear a story like that and not be impacted and want to take some kind of action. The other thing that was in that last slide was just that same message. So your hashtags, like if you want to go to, you know, we use Adult Educate and Elevate or Adult Education Matters, or using that consistent message, those consistent hashtags will help you increase your engagement and your range. One of the other things really quickly also that last slide said, directly to the audience. Speak like you're talking to somebody. Even though you're behind a computer, speak like you're standing in front of that person and talk to them, because that's also how you connect with people. You don't want to be lecturing. You don't want to be, you know, just throwing an article out like in a newspaper. You want to actually have a conversation and talk in your own person. Okay, now I'm ready for the next slide, which I cannot read without my glasses. Okay. Oh, so this is again the analytics of the data. You know, it will tell you exactly who you're hitting. You know, who's engaging with your particular posts that you're doing. So, you know, you can look on there and think, you know, all right, these are all educators, or like, oh, look, I hit some media on this one, or it's depending on what your message you're trying to get out, you want to know, who are you hitting? Who is your message reaching? So it's really important to look at that data. And if you can't figure it out, find somebody in your organization who can, because it's really not that hard. They put it all to, you don't even have to like get programs to do it for you. You really, they already put it together for you. LinkedIn does it for you. You know, Meta does it for you for Facebook and for X, Twitter, and it's an easy thing to do. Calls to action. Imagine the possibilities. So the calls to action are here are, you know, acknowledging you know, what you're doing, make sure you're tagging who you want to reach. You know, if you're mentioning a particular program, you want to tag that person. And I'm going to stop here in a moment and say, maybe one of my social influencers, who's busy on his phone, by the way, you know, you want to explain to everybody how to tag because you tag appropriately, and it drives me nuts when I see so many great posts by people, but they forget to tag. And Anthony, I'm going to call you out on this one, because if you mention somebody but you don't do the @ and have that pop up and actually tag whoever you want to, they're not going to get it unless they happen to come across it. So you've got to make sure you're hitting those tags. And when you're hitting those tags, your engagement rate increases so much so. That's something we got to get that down. Okay, so these are my slides. I know these slides. All right. So what I'm going to focus on for social media is LinkedIn and X. And the reason I'm focusing on LinkedIn and X is it's not that you shouldn't be out there on all the platforms. You absolutely should to increase your enrollment and your engagement. And I'm happy to help anybody at any time if you want to reach out to me on how to do that. But I'm focusing on LinkedIn and X because I have found that, and Larry and I struggle with this all the time in Connecticut, asking people to do things on social media is really hard. Nobody wants to do it. So I want to make it as easy as possible and focus where we really need it. And where we really need it is on X and LinkedIn, because right now advocacy is really important, and Facebook is nice, and Instagram is great. We use our Instagram for our learners. COABE does. My program, I work in for Middletown Adult Ed in Connecticut. We use it for our learners. So those are great. Those are wonderful. But for advocacy efforts right now, we want to focus on X and LinkedIn. And again, I had the exact same message that Kathy had earlier, that you need clarity. You need clarity of your vision before you go in and go out into the public, because you're not speaking up on a stage, you have no idea how many people from all over the place, and you don't know where they're sitting at in their mind right at that moment. So you really need to be focused on what your mission is. Be totally calm, in control. If you read something and it upsets you, don't respond. Sit on it for 24 hours. Think about you guys as directors, like, when something, excuse me, but the shit hits the fan, like, you don't address it right away. You sit on it for a while and think about, how do I want to handle this? This is my first reaction, but is that the best decision? So social media, no different. It's like, just don't respond. And think about the game of chess over checkers. It's long-term response. Yes, this might be the best decision right now, but long-term, what do we want to do? And for COABE right now, long-term, we want to make sure that all our programs continue to get funding, to continue what they get, what they need. I'm a social worker in adult ed, so I get very emotional about a lot of things that are going on. I don't post about it. I work with the students individually. I deal with families. I talk to friends. I talk to colleagues, but I don't ever do it on social media. And that's not just me working for COABE, that's me working for Middletown Adult Education, just because, and my director has the same vision. He's like, we're here, we have a specific job. We need to educate our population. We want to make sure every student that we're serving right now is able to keep coming to us. And the one way to do that is to keep doing what we're doing. And the one way to keep doing what we're doing is to advocate right now to make sure we can get that funding, that we don't lose it to some other source. And it's people first always. We're all educators. We're always putting people first. And just because we're not directly saying on social media, oh my gosh, I feel your pain, I know how you feel, it doesn't mean you don't. You don't need to express that to make we all know you're decent people. I know you're decent people. I'm sure all your students think you're decent people. Just keep those emotions to yourself and think about your directed message. It's one of our tools. We already went through this. It's so easy. It really is so easy. So again, the LinkedIn professional presence. So LinkedIn is going to be your longer posts. On here, I gave you some QR codes. X. So there's a lot of talk. A lot of people are getting off X. They're like, I don't want to, am I going on too long? No? Okay. So X, a lot of people are like, you know, I don't know if anybody's heard of Blue Sky. Has anybody heard of Blue Sky? It's, yeah, Blue Sky, yeah. So Blue Sky, for those of you who don't know, it's like the new, like, alternative to Facebook and X, but wow, you just dated yourself. It's new, it's up and coming, but it's very one-directed, and people will say that X is very one-directed. But guess what, guys? A lot of the political focus that's on X, those are the people that, you know, we don't want to preach to the choir. I don't need to sell you on adult ed. We're all sitting in here. We all agree on adult ed. We're always going to support adult ed. But we want to reach all the people who we need them to support adult ed. And the only way to do that is to stay calm and talk about our learners, talk about why we do what we do, why it's going to solve job problems in our communities. This is how we're going to reach other people, by talking about, you know, getting angry and getting upset or saying, I'm going to get off this platform. That's not helping us. That's not helping us all. We got to stay there, stay calm, and make our voices heard. Again, 15 words or more, this is huge. So 15 words or more increases your engagement by 15 to 20% more than just liking a post. It's great to like a post. It doesn't really have that much effect on LinkedIn. If you want to really increase your algorithm, increase your reach, you've got to do 15 words or more. Reshare a post. If you don't want to create posts, reshare a post, but don't just reshare it. Reshare it and use 15 words or more comment. It's really easy just to put your 15 words of your opinion about that post while you're resharing it, and it has a huge impact. Okay, so this is my next big point. So for all you directors and association leaders, we all have our work. We have a COABE account, you know, you have your association accounts. That's great and all, but LinkedIn does not favor, their algorithm does not favor a business. They want to hear from personal people. So because of that, we're looking to all of you specifically, you know, I was trying to tell my state association earlier that it's great, you know, Case can put out a great post, but I also need Anthony to post about it and reshare about it, and Larry on his personal account, because those individual accounts and their comments on that post are going to increase that reach and that raise that algorithm and bump it up so much higher on everybody else's feed. So you've got to use individual accounts. And for those of you who manage more than, like, if you're doing your association and also your personal account, yes, I wish I could tell you that there was a magic way to separate that, but no, you just have to toggle back and forth constantly, and it's really annoying, but that's the only way to do it. But you have to use both accounts. Your personal account will have a huge impact, and that's why our social media influencers are having such a big impact for us for COABE, because they're always tagging us appropriately, they're using their individual accounts, and it's having a huge impact. And those of you who are following their accounts and commenting on their posts, because they're engaging, they're very personable, they're funny, they make you feel like you're right there. You increase they're going to also increase your algorithm and your engagement. I will also say that I also spend a lot of time actually inviting people. When I started working for COABE and taking off this job, I didn't sit back and say, oh, you know, let's see if our engagement goes up. Almost daily, even if it's just for 5 minutes, I just look at, like, I look at, okay, who's doing a webinar for us? Who's doing this or who's doing that? And invite them. I must invite probably 150 to 200 people a week. At least 50 of them always accept. So just constantly be inviting more people into your network. And don't just invite people that, again, like, just our group, because we are all like-minded. You know, you want to invite people outside of your group. and I'm going to get to this on X as well, you know, you definitely want to reach the politicians who might not agree with you, who last time didn't vote for the funding for WIOA. Those are the people you want to reach. So make sure that you're inviting them, that you're following them, and you're getting your message to them. I went over this, 15 words, oops. Okay, so, sorry? Oh, okay, all right. So the only other thing I'm gonna say is that when you are tagging COABE, people are always doing this and they always write COABE or at COABE. You need to write at coalition. Start spelling it out. If it pops up and it's dark, you've done it. You've tagged that person. And same with any name you post in. If you're posting in Shaketa, like at Shaketa, when it pops up and it's dark, you've tagged them. If not, you're not really getting that message. And I'm cut off.
I messed that up every single time. No, I'm frowning because I'm like, I done messed that up 100 times today. I did not type out coalition. You know what? Here's a little secret, and y'all keep this between you. I am very, very shy. I truly, truly am. I do good with 101s, but I'm shy in big groups, and I'm definitely shy when it comes to social media. And if that's you, get someone in your organization to help spread your word and spread your message. I also learned yesterday ChatGPT works well to help you make, I just learned that yesterday, why nobody told me? To help you make posts, because that 15 words or more gave me anxiety. Listen, I know we ran a little bit over, but this is so important, and we see that this meeting keeps growing and growing each and every year. The beautiful Erin Landry is down there with the state of Louisiana. You see her up there. Give her a big hello. I'm so partial, you know, the state of Louisiana, that's like my home state, as well as the state of Virginia. And both of them have taken these meetings to move their states far and above and beyond. So kudos to all of you, the state of Kansas as well, and the state of Alaska. And next year, I want 3 more states that take what they have learned here today, implement it, and share with us the great works that came from it. All right, guys, get to your next session, and thank you so much for being here.